Well, hello everyone. This is Dr. Eileen, and this is a daily dose of medicine walk. And for those of you who are listening in on Blog Talk Radio, this is Healing House Radio. And Luna, the MCAT, is right here. And because it is so warm outside, she decided that she's going to spend time inside. You know, we have gotten so very used at this point to the masks that we wear. And these are necessary to keep us safe. These are necessary to be able to protect us. And maybe that's why we also use other masks. I know that I've been wearing a mask way longer than we were, having to wear these. So what are the masks we use? The ones that, especially as empaths, prevent us from, being noticed, that prevent us from being discovered. Because sometimes it can be hard when you are empathic and there can be a lot of demands, and there's a lot of reasons why empaths hide. One is that we don't want to seem weird. We don't want to be accused of making things up. We don't want to be accused of being different, or we don't want to be taken advantage of. Maybe we don't want to have other people putting their stuff on us, because if people know that you have an innate ability to be understanding and compassionate, sometimes they're going to take advantage of that. And it is important to be able to feel comfortable in our own skin. And that can be difficult enough when you're empathic, but when other people are bringing their energies in, it can make it that much more difficult. So yeah, we wear masks to protect ourselves. And it is important to know when a mask is and is not needed. If you are in a situation where it makes it more work than it's worth to have people in your space and and just not willing to give you your own space. If they have a tendency to be very clingy. Yeah. And we have different types of masks. My favorite one that I used to use a lot was that if somebody came up to me and started asking me questions about myself or wanting me to talk about myself when I really didn't want to, when I felt they were prying or, kind of getting into my personal space, I could connect with them, resonate, know exactly what it was that I could bring up that would distract them, and then I'd bring it up. If somebody's asking me about it, it's like, well, I really want to know how you're feeling. I really want to know what's going on inside your head. And if I could sense that they were feeling insecure about something, or maybe they had, you know, let's say they had maybe abandonment issues. And if I could say, it's like, well, I just feel sometimes that I just can't really trust people. Have you ever felt that way? I mean, I feel like you would know what that feels like. Immediately they go into their issue. They would go, and to start off, it's like, oh, well, we're bonding. It's like, well, yeah, I had this situation. Well, I mean, tell me about it. It would really help me to hear about it, and I would do just enough of an empathic push to make them want to tell me about it. And, that was something that I used to do when I was much younger, before I even knew what the word empath meant. I knew that I could distract someone and reroute what they wanted to talk about to where I was felt safe, where I was saying, it's like, okay, well, the spotlight's off of me, because I felt uncomfortable with it being on me. But I could get people to talk about themselves, which meant by the time the conversation was done, I was back in the role of, hearing information and not having to give it. And yes, that is an effective mask to use, and it can be done pretty easily. All you have to do is relax and create the connection and what comes to your mind, because they're asking you the question for a particular reason that serves them. So if somebody is, like, I mean, and I'm not talking about like a friend who says, it's like, well, I'm concerned about you. How are you doing? Are you okay? As opposed to somebody who's trying to dig in to find out information for some particular reason. And usually it is a self-serving one. So once you figure out that this person isn't really asking because they care, they're asking because they want something from you. So I just turn it and get them to discuss something that they would be more inclined to want to delve into. So, yeah, that's one way to create a mask. Another is for those who are a little bit more adept, and this is something that can be learned. Basically, you can go invisible. I mean, not literally go invisible, but you can, let's say you're in a crowd or you're somewhere and you don't want to be dealt with. You can actually kind of cloak yourself energetically to where people don't even really notice you're there. Which I did this once. I was at a retreat with a bunch of people, and there was this wonderful, like an old tree stump that was like, I mean, it was about like maybe 5 feet high, 5 or 6, probably closer to 6 feet up. And so, I had to climb a little bit, but I got up on it. And I was just sitting there and I was very calm, and I didn't want to deal with a lot of people right in that moment. So I basically just created or found the resonance of that tree, because I mean, it was still alive. It was just cut. And, but it was still there. There was still spirit there. And so I resonated with that. I found that point with that. And, I was just kind of meditating. And the next thing I know is I'm hearing people saying, well, she's around here somewhere. I don't know where she is, but she's around here somewhere. And I mean, it was 6 feet up, so they would have had to look up to see me. But they were walking past it and they had no idea I was there. And for a second, I just kind of sat there and I found it interesting. And then it was like I called out and said, I'm right here. And they're like startled and they're shocked and they look, it's like, how could you be right there? And it's like, I was here the whole time. So there are ways to cloak yourself so that it almost reflects other energies and you just sort of blend in to the environment. And I've done that before. And yeah, it does take a little bit of practice, but you can do it. And, I'll go more into detail on the cloaking, but for today, we're just talking about why we need it. And mostly it's just because there are times when we need to be alone. Now, yesterday we talked about the difficulty for empaths to re-enter the world after we've been separated from it, after it's actually gotten good to us and it feels normal just to deal with ourselves. So as we go back out, yes, we need these masks. And sometimes we do need the empathic mask, the one that allows us to be able to move through the world in a little bit of an easier way and kind of create that little bit of a buffer and give ourselves a break. So whichever mask you choose, remember that using it's not something you should be using all the time. Just when you need a break, just when a particular person's energy is not one that you want to resonate with. And so, Sam, you okay? He's over there doing something. But, being able to create the space you need to so that you don't have to deal with the people you don't want to. So, thank you for joining me. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them in the comments section. And if you would like to support the video, then please consider giving it a thumbs up, like. And if you would like to support it a little further, you can subscribe. It's always cool when new people subscribe. And we're at 101 subscribers now, which I think is very exciting. And most of the people who watch are subscribers, so thank you so much. And if you're not, it would be really great if you would, because that would help out the channel a whole bunch. So, Again, thank you for joining me. And as always, I wish you balance and I wish you blessings from my heart. Oh, I'm still working on that sunburn to yours. Love you. And see you next time. Bye.